Okay, here we are playing Origins, how we became human. Blue started things off, and they drew from deck number 3 using the invention action over in the innovation. They get one action, and they picked up something kind of interesting. Edicts of Ahsoka. It's got 3 swords. They want this. Swords are one of the things that they really desire, plus it'll help them maintain their stability. Not that they necessarily want to maintain stability, but they have to get their population and or innovation up in order to win the way things are set right now. Red's got a big jump on innovation points. So what do we see? Well, and it also gives the storyteller ability, so that even though he's outside of Arrow 1, he can use that particular action, which might be of value because he doesn't have any information cards, so economic stimulation won't help. Alright, but first, he's got an event he has to deal with. Well, a disease. And Blue's disease factor is high enough that he's not affected by it. So I think, from my understanding, it doesn't have any effect on any of his neighbors either. It doesn't spread, so he's immune to measles. At this point, we go to bidding, and let's look at who could bid on this. And I think somebody is going to bid 1, just because it is a useful card. Black will certainly bid 1. Now, black is C, blue is player A, and he wants to bid on it as well. Player H has nothing to bid, so blue will be able to pick this up by expending that red elder, whom now he'd kind of like to get rid of because he can grab another elder from someone else and but that's not really an option in and of itself, so he gets to hold on to it. Moving to green. Green's only in Arrow 1, and I have to do some thinking here. Wow, being at work really drains my brain. First of all, we don't move on to green. It's still blue's turn. We have to make a stability roll, which they automatically pass because of their newfound administrative talent. But then they get their population action, which I'll take care of as well. But green is not in Arrow 1, they're in Arrow 2. I forgot. Arrow 1 is the other side of the card with the brain. Blue's going to get up to 2 population actions. And anyway, just correcting my errors as quickly as I can. Green used their innovation to steal the boat card so that they now have boats. They also got an additional elder from that. They could have done a mining operation, but it would have had to be done on uranium, which doesn't really help them. It has a -3 to its success roll, so the best they could roll would be a 3. That would require 2 power. They don't have that. They don't have 4 metallurgies, so they didn't take that. And it would have cost their elder. Instead, they survived their stability roll, which they didn't particularly want to do. They were in a golden age. They would have been able to go into level 3 had they not. But they took their population actions and filled out Australia as much as they can. If they somehow survive again, they're going to have to do urbanization, which costs 3 actions, to try to reduce the population footprint, as it were, that they're suffering from right now. If they move somebody, say, into here, that'll make it safe. Now we move on to black, who's only going to get 1 action, and is in a dark age. They want to advance. Do they have the energy? They do. They have the boat, so they're going to take their action to advance. They have no cards, so they do a stability roll. They pass that, so they don't get to slip into the next era. And then they get to do their population actions. Now, blue chased them out of Europe and put itself into Africa in order to, pursue goals involving tin, I think. Or maybe plants. So I'm going to have to think about what black will do. Well, what did black do? I don't know what they did for their advance. I really don't remember, and my brain is floating free. It's really not working well. I don't know what they did for an advance, but they ended up not... oh, they went to a golden age, perhaps. Yeah, they went to their golden age, and they did not have a stability loss, which means they don't go into their next era. They spread out down here in Africa. They drove the blue piece out, but they didn't really worry too much about blue. They want 3 pieces because they're planning on entering a dark age fairly soon. So losing only 1 piece is okay. Red went for a draw from the Era 3 cards, and they got this, which gives them cholera. What a bonus. Well, they get sick, and they suffer the effects of that, which I have to look up every time. Now, who do they want as their neighbor who they're going to make sick? They can't make white sick. They're immune. They can't make blue sick. They're immune. They're adjacent to black. They could make black sick. So I guess they have to. And give them hay. Now, it's not a tropical age, so that's no big help. Both take an elder loss. And note that there's no space to put them there, just in case I forget that regularly. And that's that for that. Okay, but now there's a bidding on this thing, and it's got 3 swords, so there are people who are interested in it. Green certainly is interested in it. Black, maybe, although they kind of want to fail their roll so that they can get into Era 3, and it doesn't really help them. Blue and red are less interested, or white and red are less interested. White may be interested in it, however. Let's see, do they want chaos? Yeah, they want chaos too. So I think everybody's going to just let green take this for 1. And only white could have stopped them. So they pick this up, and now they lose an elder because of it. Alright. And now we go forward with red. Red wants to make it into a golden age. That's their problem. They have to find biofuel to have a reasonable chance. And the only place that's nearby that there's biofuel is over here. So that's where they're going to be heading, I think. Have to roll a die for their chaos, though, because bad things could still happen. Their stability holds up, and I get to do my population actions, which are going to be aimed at trying to get to that biofuel. So, red did their movement, and they attacked, they got passage through white, and they attacked blue, and got themselves positioned where they wanted with the number of pieces they wanted to have for it. Now we're on white, and white drew a card which they didn't want to play. It gives them a domestication, which they can't do, and an improvement in their innovation track, but that would actually penalize them for what they're trying to do, which is fall into chaos. Now here's something interesting. Under enslaved prohibited actions, migration is not one of them. When they place a unit, they can't immediately migrate, but they can migrate before or after they place. Okay, so his goal is actually fairly similar, but he wants to get away. 1, 2. That looks like an okay place. I'll go to here for 3. That's one population action, and a second one, I can place a deed here. And I don't know if that's a mistake in the game or if it should be allowed that way. Alright, well, that's the end of our first of our round, and we'll go to the next one. On our next turnaround, blue took a card draw and got quite a nice card. It allows a metal Oh, but they can't use it. They need a 3 footprint to go up to a 4 footprint, and it would give them metal use. They can try to do a plant domestication, and that'll bump up one of their elders, but it also does a necropolis, which will kill one of their elders. So, and bumping it up, they have to pay to replace it. Luckily, they're using other people's elders, so that wouldn't be too bad a thing. They did an acculturation to grab someone, and they positioned themselves to where they can maybe get a plant-based metropolis. That may help white out, because white can then start growing out of there as well. Then we moved to green, and green also drew a highest level card that they could. And it's one they'd love. It's got 2 stars, and they like stars. Unfortunately, there's other people who can bid for it, and those other people include A, who's up at the top, but also N, who would kind of like it. First, we have to make a quick roll on the disaster table, though, and see what the climate change is. The climate change is the greenhouse card, which is, I think, this one. So now green areas are habitable again. And this card is going to give revolution as an option. Revolution is normally only available once you're in era 3. And you can swap your victory point cards. But if you do so, you get a penalty to your stability, which could be useful towards winning the game. And you can only do it to somebody who's already in a Dark Age. That sounds like a good kind of power towards getting you to the victory, but I don't see much value to it before Era 3, and you can do it in Era 3 or later. So it may not be a huge advantage before that, except maybe to stop someone from winning. This card has 2 stars. Does blue want to jump on it to prevent white from taking it? That's the question. Blue isn't hurt too bad by using their elders from what they can see, because they can discard them, kind of. So they're going to bid on it and take it, because player C doesn't have any elders to take it with. So that gives blue a second one of these. Now blue doesn't really want these, and they have one that's pretty good with the Muslim faith. But this one doesn't really hurt them, so paying for it seems like a good idea. Now where was I? I'm on green, right? Yeah. Green has a chance to have a stability failure. Not much of one. They need to roll under a 2. And they succeed. And that's awesome for them. So they're going to slip into the Era 3 Dark Age. And I'll take care of their activities, because they were kind of stymied where they were, largely because of these cards. Well, the pink card, the administrative one. And I'll figure out what's going on in terms of their population loss, and then go over to black. Well, I realize I've been screwing up here again. Had black pick this card up. People have been using it for its boat making. Well, and they used it for the metal to try to see if they could get the biofuel. These pink things, you know, little icons and stuff just don't work for me. And I had the same problem with megafauna. I just don't pay attention to them well. And here they definitely failed me once again. I didn't see that requirement there, because my brain just doesn't register certain things well. Anyway, little pictograms, and boy, it's going to be fun playing Euro Realms, because that was actually one of the difficulties I remember with it. Munching fairy nuts, what the hell? Anyway, I don't know what to do, because I'm going to constantly be making these errors. I've had this in a lot of games. Anything where it expects me to understand little symbol pictures, I cannot remember to look. And I think I'm just going to be screwing up left and right throughout this because my brain's not wired to handle that. All right, well, maybe they'll slip into the Dark Age. At least they failed on their energy roll, and I'll just leave that there, and people can steal it as a fecundity decrease or whatever, if I remember. And they slip into a Dark Age too, going forward. I don't know how you're supposed to get your footprint up that high. I guess cultivating plants or something. But anyway, at least nobody's gotten an advantage yet that's beyond repair. Boats are generally, there's another card I think that gives them, I'm not sure. But I remember other cards giving them. Okay, so they went into their chaos. I'll take care of their losses and then move on to red and maybe try to stop cheating. Red went drawing in the 2 deck, even though they're over in level 3, and got something they wanted. Plant cultivation. But there's a problem. They don't have an elder to do it. So they'll put that in their hand. They only get 1 action. Resolve catastrophes. No. They get a chance, a very good chance, of chaos, which will continue. Hey, why didn't their last chaos decrease their units? Jeez. I don't know. Yeah, they don't have chaos. I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I'm screwing up left and right. This is just... It's not that it's too hard. It's just... my brain is not working well right now. Okay. So, I guess they get their population actions, whatever, and they get a ton of them. Not much they can do. I don't know. I'll try to do something. So I just didn't do a population action with red that puts them about where they were. I don't know. White drew a card. Why? Well, they couldn't figure out anything else to do. They don't want to do a fecundity decrease. They don't really have anything they can do, and they drew something kind of cool because they win the bid. Nobody else has any elders that they can bid. So, what did they get? They got taxation. No bonus. That kills one of their elders. That's it. And makes it impossible for them to go into chaos, which is what they really wanted here. Well, at least they get to do a population action. I think they're only allowed to grow here. They can't grow here. I'm not sure. Let's look at slaves again and try to read those rules. Only in metropolitan hexes of the Slaver Society. Okay. Well, I don't know. I'll try to figure out what I'm doing. I got no idea.